I'm a firm believer that you should not jump on every trend because then your brand just seems very tacky in a way, just trying too hard. Don't jump on the trend if it doesn't make sense for you. That's why, for example, I mentioned Kim Kylie, and 2016 worked for her so well. I genuinely think she single-handedly brought back this whole era. So if you have some, iconic products from 2016, you can definitely bring that back, and it will feel authentic, and people will be excited. But if it's, I don't know, just a random picture from a photo shoot you did 10 years ago that has no connection to your present strategy, then it's just trend hopping, and it does nothing positive, I think, for your brand reputation. Because people can always tell when you're doing something from the heart, or again, just because you see the trend.
So, hi guys, this is Eamon, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Feed by Social Tram. And today we have Katerina with us, who's a digital marketer. And we have a very interesting topic to talk about, that is the 2016 marketing trends that are officially back in 2026. So, all over to you, Katerina. First of all, how are you? And also tell me about what is your take about all of these 2016 marketing trends that are coming back?
Hi everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. Doing well and going right into it. I think that it's a great trend to be alive around with. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely an older Gen Z, so reliving 2016 is something that hasn't been on my bingo card this year, but is definitely bringing a lot of positive emotions. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. Yeah.
That's correct. So do you think that this setback was intentional, like it was bought by brands, or you just happened to naturally?
I would say that it's a mix of both, because I believe that it started with the King Kylie campaign, and we all know that nothing is accidental with Kris Jenner, so that was definitely intentional. And as an older Gen Z, I think we're bringing it up to again relieve the state of something positive because there are so many quote unquote bad news going around and so much AI slop that we just want to experience something authentic again. Um, but it also can be accidental in a way that younger Gen Z or even Gen Alpha, they didn't really live through that era. So they kind of holding on to it in terms of aesthetics and they keep it going. For me, this is the balance.
That's nice. So since you're talking about 2016, it all comes back to nostalgia. So how important do you think that nostalgia plays a role in social media?
I think right now it's obviously the biggest trend, and we're all riding that wave for as long as possible because I feel like we're running out of decades to go by. And in my opinion, it's really important on social media right now because the algorithm rewards it, obviously, because we're constantly supposed to feed like new content, new ideas and all that. So sometimes it's just easier to take something that was already there and just repost it. That's first. And second, obviously, nostalgia ties into the emotions, and there's nothing better for marketing than speaking to something human in your potential customer.
Yeah. So you saw that AI was actually becoming very important for marketeers, and everyone was talking about AI. But now, since we're going back to 2016, we're coming back to human content, just like you said right now. So, do you think AI is fading away right now, especially when it comes to marketing?
I'd like to believe so. I think that there is a general trend on social media where people are searching for other people, let's say. Definitely, I've seen a lot of hand drawn campaigns, for example, or things that are definitely made by an animator, for example, no AI slop inside. So I'm hoping it dies down because even if you ask ChatGPT, I don't think it has a lot of information on what was going on in 2016. So it's just not a sustainable source in any way just to keep the content going. So yeah, I hope that in the next year or two, it's going to be a minimal percentage of what we're going to see. And it's just going to be more human to human connection.
That's nice. I hope that we come back to the human side of marketing as well. So why do you actually think 2016 is trending, or even the older times are trending in the first place? Is it because of the algorithm changes, or because people are having burnout and they want to go back to the more easier times?
I think there are a lot of things at play here. First of all, just like you said, we're definitely experiencing a lot of burnout and in any area of our lives, to be honest. Let's just think about politics, economy, all of that. But most importantly, I think people forget that we weren't biologically and psychologically wired to receive so much information at all times. And to be fair, I think our generation is the first to actually experience it. Because I don't know about you, but I got Instagram when I was 12, and I cannot even imagine, like, kids going on it even earlier. Because it's a lot. Like, after 10, 13, like, 15 years, it piles up. So I think it's definitely a response to that, because you wanna go back to something simpler. Because in 2016, we really weren't it wasn't, like a source of income, let's say. People haven't been making money of it yet, so it was just for fun, just for friends and family. That's first, and second, again, just like an older Gen Z, we just grew up, we just entered, the adult life. So being nostalgic about high school, because we were like, what, 16, 17 when it was all happening? So being nostalgic about high school, I think it's a very natural response, and it's also, in my opinion, the first period in life that you can actually remember. Not something like memories from middle school. And I think it also ties to Y2K trend. I do believe that it was happening because millennials were in high school in the early 2000s. So it's just, honestly, I think it's a very natural wave that we grew up and we're bringing the nostalgia wave with us. So. Yeah.
Just like right now, you talked about Gen Z and millennials, and you say that, that's why we're actually able to connect with 2016. But we also have other target markets as well, other gauge groups like Gen Alpha as well. So, like me and you, we are the older Gen Z. So, we're able to connect to 2016. Similarly, millennials are able to connect. But do you think that other target audiences like Gen Alpha, are they able to connect with such marketing trends as well?
I believe you can tap into it, but definitely it depends on your target audience, obviously. If you have a business where you're looking for potential customers, aged 40, for example, yeah, you can post on a 2016 trend just to like gain the impressions, gain the brand awareness. But I don't think it's actually going to convert, because this generation, they don't really have the emotional connection to the year. They might appreciate it aesthetic wise, or like think it's funny, or just be, oh, like my kids did that in this way. But I think if you actually want to convert, then it's all about Gen Z, potentially Gen Alpha, maybe some millennials who are willing, not to have the war about who's better. So yeah, I think it's possible, but in terms of conversion, is it really worth it? That's the question. So.
Yeah, so like we talk about trends right now. So a lot of brands they always are into jumping on different trends, just to get viral. So do you think that brands should actually jump onto all type of trends like a 2016 trend, or is it not important to jump on trend and something else is important in marketing?
I think it definitely the question where you can answer it depends. I'm a firm believer that you should not jump on every trend, because then your brand just seems very tacky in a way, just trying too hard. Don't jump on the trend if it doesn't make sense for you. That's why, for example, I mentioned Kim Kylie, and 2016 worked for her so well. I genuinely think she single-handedly brought back this whole era. So if you have some, iconic products from 2016, you can definitely bring that back, and it will feel authentic and people will be excited. But if it's, I don't know, just a random picture from a photo shoot you did 10 years ago that has no connection to your present strategy, then it's just trend hopping, and it does nothing positive, I think, for your brand reputation. Because people can always tell when you're doing something from the heart, or again, just because you see the trend. Because just a quick example with that, I recently got an email marketing campaign in my inbox from Halsey. Basically, I love her as an artist, and the message basically said that Relief 2016 with Badlands 10th anniversary. If you don't know Badlands, they came out in 2015, 2014, something like that. So when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't really make sense. It didn't come out in 2016. It felt really off. Like, it definitely felt like a cash grab. So I can imagine people feeling the same way if they actually know your history, if they've been for this long with you. Definitely don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, that's I agree with that. So what do you think that where do these trends actually lie? What type of social media platforms can we actually use? Like this 2016 trend, I've seen it on LinkedIn, I've seen it on Instagram as well. So what social media platforms do you think this trend is going viral on? And should brands actually jump onto every social media platform for every trend?
Definitely not. For every platform, I think LinkedIn 2016 is very different from Instagram 2016. But in terms of platforms themselves, I would say that TikTok and Instagram are the biggest ones. For TikTok, I think it's just really easy because they make it so repeatable. Like the second the trend starts, they make the templates, they make the audio that you can use. So it's really like a quick cycle, and you can do a lot of things with it. You can really, because it's kind of an unserious platform, let's say, you can really double down on not taking yourself seriously, like doing funny comments or throwbacks. And for Instagram, it's definitely about the aesthetics. I think Instagram themselves, they posted a carousel with like the OG filters, and nobody looked good with Sienna filter on, but you can bring that back. So yeah, I think these two you can definitely tap into because that's where the main talking is happening. Again, just like Gen Z, these are the platforms that we're using. LinkedIn is definitely for the cool people for now. I'm hoping that is gonna grow even more. But yeah, I think those two they offer very much like low point of entry, and it's really easy to use, really easy to recreate. I wish I could say Snapchat, but I don't think you can do much more on Snapchat beyond the filters, unfortunately. So I think it's also a great example of platform not surviving, actually, of that trend that they initially started.
That's true. So I've seen a lot of B2C brands jumping onto this 2016 trend. But and we also talked about a lot of B2C brands as well. But do you think that B2B brands can also jump onto this? And if yes, then B2B brands they have this fear that they will be non-serious or considered to be too Gen Z or too non-serious if they will jump on such 2016 trends. So do you also agree with this? And you think B2B brands can actually jump on these trends?
I think they definitely should because as the generation who's coming into adult money, let's say, we have the most buying potential. I think in one of the recent research, they researchers they said that. So tapping into 2016 nostalgia, I think is definitely going to at least bring you to the front of their minds when they will be considering the purchase. And I think also the waves are changing that there are a lot of Gen Z workers in B2B now. I myself work in B2B as well, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of creators on LinkedIn in the B2B space. So it also feels authentic because we are working there. And finally, again, the internet is coming to the stage when we can double down on being funny, double down on being relatable. You don't have to, post the memes every day, I think. But you can definitely just do a little throwback. It's a cultural moment. And I think if you play it right, it's definitely going to be a plus.
I love to see a lot of B2B brands jumping on this trend because I've not seen much as of yet. So, what is the biggest mistake you see brands doing when they jump onto such retro trend, especially?
Yeah, just like I said before, when they don't align the product to the timing well, or for example, if you've been with the brand for a long time and they bring in back the product that was discontinued, but you also know that it wasn't from the same era, again, it just feels like a cash grab. That's first. And second, again, like we talked about, when you don't feel like they're being authentic, like just using the filter, just posting it has no connection to the other posts, basically making it a one time attention grab. as well instead of a full campaign. Because I think if you actually make it a campaign, then it feels at least coherent. So yeah, these are two that first come to mind, I think.
So, like, do you think that all of these brands are generally pre 2016 trends, they're only doing it for engagement, for likes, and does it actually convert?
I think depends on the brand. Unfortunately, like we talked about, I haven't seen a lot of B2B brands, so can't speak on that. But B2C, I think they definitely do have the conversions because let me tell you, if we're coming into adult money and 2014 aesthetic was coming back like a year or two ago, I was genuinely considering purchasing, the Tumblr tennis skirt because we just couldn't have that. When you're a teenager, you don't have the money. So I think it's really a smart move to bring it all back because actually, people now, despite the economy, the little treats economy is still very much present, and people will buy something that they wanted as teenagers that reminds them of the time where they were happier, presumably, than they are right now, and life felt easier, quote unquote. So yeah, I think it definitely has a lot of potential to convert. Just if you play your cards right, if you're genuinely the brand that has something to offer and not just putting the 2016 label on the product that you launched, last year. So
So, like, we talked a lot about B2C and B2B brands, but now personal brands are also trending, and we are finally posting, like, you're posting on LinkedIn as well. So, do you think that this whole 2016 wide has also affected personal brands? Because I've seen people now, they don't like AI content, they don't like people who are actually using AI and actually call it out as well. They want more fluid, authentic content as well, and they also tap into nostalgia. So, do you think that this whole 2016 trend has affected personal brands as well?
yeah, I think it's definitely an ecosystem. It's just I've been waiting for people to switch off the AI mode and just come back to themselves. I definitely agree with you on that. And in my opinion, it just influences the personal brand in a way that people are tapping back into not overthinking. I think in 2016, social media was all about you just took a picture yesterday and you're feeling like posting it today and you just write like a cringe caption and you go with it. And that was the whole point. So I think people are slowly coming back to it. Obviously, on LinkedIn, it still has to be a little bit polished because considered to be a professional platform, but yeah, I definitely see the change from basic AI generated, paragraphs to more personal storytelling, or again, just little throwbacks of everything that happened 10 years ago and just being genuinely unserious. I think we're so fed up with trying to fit into every single box that we decided to give it up altogether. And finally.
And that's true. I agree with that. So, as a digital marketer, how do you actually identify that any type of content is authentic? And, when brands are actually forcing trends and forcing content, how you actually identify?
Ooh, such a good question. Um, I'd say I would definitely check the comments. If that's the brand that I don't know, I'd go through the comments and I see how people are responding. If there's definitely like a positive engagement that, oh my God, I missed this so much, or I'm so glad you're bringing this back, then I'm okay. This is something that's authentic to them. They're not just hopping on a trend. I can check out their products as well. But if I go into comments and people are like, why is it on my feed? Then it's definitely like, I'm not opening your page ever again. Other than that, if I'm thinking about bringing this trend to life, um, I would start with genuinely finding a person whose, let's say, like, era it was like the biggest moment. So again, a fellow Gen Zer or like a marketing director, who had a big moment 10 years ago, that they can share like outtakes or insights. I'll start with that. And we just write in the tone of voice that's ours. I personally wouldn't tap into 2016 humor. I think we're over that. So for me, authenticity does come from the community response. Like I check that. And the original source. Basically, if you see that the person, again, not AI generated version, but wrote it. Yeah.
That's true. I also check the comments as well. So a lot of people or a lot of creators online, they actually sell their books as CTAs, and we have this 100 viral book thing. That if you're going to use these books, you're going to get viral. But as far as I remember, in 2016, we never had anything like you could post anything, and as long as it's authentic, it just used to catch the audience's attention. So do you think that since we're going back to 2016, all of these tablets, these hooks, these CTAs, they actually work now? Or can you just post anything and real people are going to connect with it?
I think that unfortunately you have to play by the platform rules. And we all know that when it comes especially to the video content, the hook is something that decides if your video is going to be pushed further to the followers or the explore page. So the hook stays. Um, I mean, maybe not the hook, maybe the storytelling should stay because that's what's driving the algorithm at the moment. But all of those, tech bros advice on how you should craft your how you should craft your hook or how you should craft your CTA. I think we're past that. I think it's too much of that. We're all looking the same, and when we all look the same, it's just there's no engagement. People just scroll past it. So keep the storytelling, but again, just do it in a way you would do it naturally. I think we're past the point of following all of the bullet point advice that you see on LinkedIn, unfortunately, on that topic. Yeah.
That's true. I agree with that. So if any brand, was supposed to start their social media today and, it's a startup, whether it be B2C or B2B. So what advice would you give? How should they actually jump on the trends? How they should actually, create their own storytelling techniques for their audience?
Definitely, first thing first, you need to work out your tone of voice, and go from there. Because if you are genuinely like a formal company, even though we're, moving away from that, if you're generally like a formal company that likes to post, for example, educational content, and you are so strict about using like a proper terminology and language, there's no it doesn't make sense for you to jump on a 2016 trend and posting like a meme about it. It's so disconnected, but you can tap into, the terminology from 10 years ago, for example, and be like, oh my God, why were we using this? Like, it doesn't make sense. Just find the aspects that are tied to your company. Again, feel authentic to your company. Just be creative with it, I would say. Don't copy paste something that's happening. I think the playbook is abandoned by now. Basically, you see the trend and you should immediately think how I can tie it to my brand. Don't just do the same, I don't know, the same dance, the same hook, the same thing. Just find the aspect that's exactly yours and just go from there. So for 2016 trend, that's it. In general, for any trend, like I said before, you don't really need every single one. Just think about if it makes sense for you first and then do something. And if you're starting out, the great thing is that nobody is actually watching. So it's a great time to experiment a lot in the beginning. That I would say would be my biggest advice. You can in the beginning you can jump on everything just with different formats. As you grow, do not do that. But in the beginning, again, don't overthink it, just have fun with it and stay true to your tone of voice. Don't try to force being Gen Z when you're not Gen Z. You can be Gen Z spiritually, but we can tell that you're not Gen Z.
I really love that advice. So this brings us at the end of the podcast, Katrina. It was wonderful having you. At the end, would you like to give any message out to especially the marketeers like you and me? Because we see a lot of content online and we see so many trends, and it's difficult for all of us to jump onto every trend. Sometimes it becomes so overwhelming that you are going to burn out. So what advice would you like to give to all the marketeers out there?
I think we need to take a deep breath and just go with it. Again, just I feel like this whole conversation today was about taking time and figuring out if the trend makes sense for you. And especially for us, we work in such an industry where we're so many hats and we're expected to do so many things that it's important to chill for a second and, make a case to argue if you should jump on a trend or not. Try to explain it to other people around you. That's first. And second, again, be authentic. This should be put on a t-shirt after this. Just be yourself. Maybe find a face for the brand that feels the most like your tone of voice. I would say that makes sense a lot as well. Yeah, that's it. Just take it day by day because the trend cycle is so quick. You definitely you just don't have the mental capacity or time to do every single thing. So just sort it out and stay true to yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for letting and thank you for this advice. I hope you enjoyed as well.
Thank you so much for having me. That was fun. Thank you.